the amazing benefits of kefir milk. Now, if you'd like to know more about what really this kefir milk is about, then just stick on and we'll run through this as soon as possible. So get ready for it. So let's start. What is kefir milk? Okay, now this is another kind of fermented milk like yogurt or curds, and it can be made from any kind of milk, not just cow's milk. It can be made from coconut water, it can be made from coconut milk, soya milk, almond milk, okay, anything that will lend itself to getting fermented. Okay, now the main constituent is the lactobacillus retturi. Okay, now this particular bacillus is typically not available in all the probiotic drinks that you might have, or even the yogurt and the curds. This particular bacteria is absent. Okay, now before we go any further, kefir actually comes from a Turkish word which means feeling good. Okay, now let's see what the feeling good is about, because you're going to feel good after I tell you a couple of things. Now, what are the benefits of this? Now, one of the most important things is that it fights bad gut pathogen, which is called, wow, this is a tough one, okay? Helicobacter pylori. Now, pylori is a very common thing, and you actually get a tablet which is called something similar to that, like pylori or pylorus, and it actually contains the retturi bacteria in it. It's actually a condensed form, powdered form of it, and that's actually used. And it is a known drug to fight this. And this particular bug causes, stomach ulcers, burning stomachs. So this particular bacteria is really good for immunity. Now, what other benefits does it have? One, it helps you fight cavities. It reduces the plaque on your teeth. Okay. Any stomach related issues, this is something that you can actually take. And it helps gut protection from a lot of other pathogens. Okay. Because a lot of pathogens can coexist with you in a small intestine. And this will help you defeat those pathogens. It also helps, enhance the immune system and reduce the inflammation. Okay. So it's a good thing to aid you. Now, it helps break down a lot of foods. And sometimes we are not in a capacity to absorb a lot of good nutrients from our food. And this is something that will help you break down food for absorption. Okay. Now, it promotes a youthful testosterone. Okay. Now, youthful testosterone is one that the body can actually use and doesn't cause too many complications. This is the plain old testosterone. As we get older, we get, a testosterone and a lot of derivatives of the testosterone that can kind of create certain things like, pattern baldness and a lot of other, afflictions that can come. Now, one thing is when you do actually consume this kefir milk, you get soft hair. A lot of people say the hair becomes really soft. I don't know if my hair looks soft right now, but then kefir seems to be taking its action. But what is really good is it gives you a euphoria. And a lot of it is to do with the way the body is able to absorb the vitamin B, the happy vitamin. If you haven't seen that video earlier, it helps you absorb that vitamin B, and it gives you a sense of euphoria. Okay. Now, it also, especially for people who are in type 2 diabetes, uh, the cells do not absorb glucose and it does not absorb sugar. That's why that sugar floats around and it becomes high. But this, in the long term, helps the cells absorb glucose. So the cells that no longer were accepting food start to get a little hungry, give them a little appetite. Okay. And it also lowers cholesterol, if you please. Okay. Studies have shown that LDL cholesterol gets actually reduced in your blood. Okay. So now we'll ask, how do you get it? Okay. How do you really get it? Now you can actually buy kefir milk. Online you get door delivery. It's a trifle expensive. Okay. And typically you will get, but sometimes they're sweetened, and they'll find them in these Greek yogurts, but they're terribly sweet. So I don't advise you to take this at all. Okay. Don't take anything that's like packaged and made sweet. Or if you can get it just with the kefir in it, is perfect. Now, how do you actually do this? Is better to make it by yourself. It's not very complicated. Now, you can get the L. reuteri bacteria capsules itself, and sometimes they slip that into milk. Or the best thing to do is a more proven method is to buy a kefir culture. Okay, now this kefir culture looks like doodh peda. I don't know, not peda. It looks like koya or whatever. It's kind of granulated. Looks like fluffy broken rice. Okay, and you'll find this on Amazon and a lot of online stores. And typically, the couple of ones if you can remember these pictures. It's called a kefir starter culture. It's probably the best. And there's another one which is called milk kefir, which is a green packet. But if you remember the kind of orange with silver one, this is actually probably the best. And so what you do is you take one of these sachets and you put it into about 1 liter of milk and you keep it in a very warm place. Now, it doesn't have to be boiling. Unlike yogurt and curds, you have to boil the milk and then only it becomes curds. But this does not and should not be boiled. But it's preferable you use uh, not UHT milk or pasteurized milk because by itself, a lot of the bacteria gets killed. And there is some good bacteria in milk and that gets killed. So, if you want long shelf life, yeah, you buy this UHT milk and things like that, which you get which last on the shelf for 10 20 days and so on. But if you can try and get the more natural milk, which is if it's possible for you to get, then it's probably the best one to use. So what you do is you just pour it into what 1 liter of milk. Now the kefir grains will actually float around, they won't dissolve. Okay, so there'll be like lumps in your milk. So when you put it in a bottle or whatever the container that you want to let ferment, what you do is you strain it out in a cheesecloth. Now, if you don't want any contaminants to go in, you can put it in a pot and then cover that with a cheesecloth so that there is a lot of variation and of course nothing gets in. And you can use the same cheesecloth to kind of strain it out. You take the kefir, that granules, and keep them back in the fridge. Okay. Now, if you buy the granules, you buy the starter kit, typically it might just get dissolved. So you won't see anything. So you don't need the cheesecloth story anymore. But keep it in a dark, warm place and typically room temperature around 24 degrees and let it rest. Okay. And depending on how warm it is and how good the culture is, it will ferment. And how does it taste? It tastes like, it's like in between a buttermilk and a yogurt. Okay. It is a little tangy and sweet. Okay. So what you do is after you've made that little concoction of yours, you take out 95% and keep 5% back and repeat the process. Put 1 liter of milk inside and do this. Now, usually, if you keep doing this, you can repeat it for about 8 to 10 times. So you can about 8 to 10 liters you can get from one of these sachets. You can experiment, of course, by buying the capsules that you get. Also, you can try and put that directly into milk also and see what happens. So unfortunately, in most cities, it's not easy to get, unpasteurized or not UHT milk. You'll just get very, pasteurized milk and it's not so easy. So we can definitely get a hold of it. Good. But otherwise, no problem. You can always use the pasteurized milk uh, and maybe throw in maybe quarter teaspoon of or a teaspoon of curd into it if you'd like to and put the kefir inside. But the curd will definitely not just add to the probiotic. Or what you can do is after you've made the kefir, you can actually put some curd and mix it and drink it so that you get a kind of raw. Now, to remember, like I said, there is also, I've discovered that it can help certain forms of cancers, but only if you're off chemotherapy. Okay, so it's a good cancer prevention. So it's something that I'd advise anyone to have in your regular diet. This is something like, it really helps you in many ways and it definitely improves things like hair growth and your muscles and sugar in your blood, and there's so many benefits for it. So if you do get a chance to work on this uh, and make your own concoction, be my guest and let me know how it goes for you. So the last laugh, and this is what we do here. We try and find new secrets about food to help people, advance themselves and have a lot more vitality for their life. So I leave the floor open for uh, any more questions and to you guys.